Hello friends inside that camera right there, you on the internet. I'm Chase Jarvis. Welcome to this episode of The Daily Creative. This show is where I answer questions about your challenges in your mission to be an aspiring or professional creative and an entrepreneur. It's called The Daily Creative. We film it, well, daily. Actually, that's a little bit of a lie right now. This is a test. We're testing. We're only a few episodes in, but I'm having a great time and I hope you guys are too. Finn, we're into the show. Do I need to say anything else? No, we're in the show.
We're in the
all right,
show.
we're in the show.
And this is Michelle.
Michelle, I should take away all distractions.
Hi, Chase. This is Michelle Strawn with MichelleStrawnPhotography.com _MS Photos on Instagram. And I'm in the Bahamas on a small island. It's very difficult accessing a lot of creative material here on the island.
Okay.
And it's also just as difficult being creative. What are your suggestions for someone like myself and other creatives that would be on an island to just get out there and create creativeness, if I can say it like that, to get out there and exhaust yourself with whatever resources you have available to you? How do we get out there? What do you do? What tips can you give us to stay motivated in an isolated environment? Thanks.
Awesome, Michelle. First of all, zero sympathy for you're stuck in the Bahamas. I know, a little tongue-in-cheek, and actually there's something to... Sorry. We have to figure out what the... I sympathize with the challenge. The irony for me is that you have to work with what you have where you are. There's a great episode of CreativeLive with Justine where she talked a lot about that. Be the best in Pittsburgh. Be the most inspired or the best photographer for your particular genre of photography in the Bahamas. Whatever that thing is, like, do what you can with what you have. This idea that the grass is always greener. If you're in New York or if you're in LA, I would just have X or Y or Z. That, to me, those are fictions. Those are, I understand that there are real challenges with geographic boundaries, especially for you to travel to shoot something, but just get this clear, like, there's a narrative going on in your head, and the narrative is that you're stuck, you're compromised, you're X or you're Y because of where you are. And I'm recommending, first and foremost, that you change that narrative. I know so many creative people that just grind themselves to pieces in New York or London or any of these other creative metropolises, and then what do? To get away and to get inspired, where do they go? They go to the Bahamas. Like that's the, you should probably beat that out, but that's the, and I don't say that with any spite. I just want you to gather that is, right now there's someone who's leaving a voicemail at 802-962-4357 that's saying, I'm so ground to pieces in New York, I need to get away, what do I need to do? And I get it. I've prescribed travel as adventure to reinvigorate the soul. But the reality is, if you put that as a blocker for yourself, or you give yourself that narrative, that story, that is going to get in your way. So at the bottom, the bottom dollar for all this is that you have to do what you can with what you have. The internet is a phenomenal place to derive inspiration. And what have you done? This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity, Michelle, for you to host a gathering of creatives. Have a dinner where you invite a different half a dozen creatives to your table once a month, create a little series, and why don't you create the hub in the Bahamas for the creative world that you want to live in. Waiting around for someone else to do it, like that's, do you think that this thing got created by saying, God, I just really want someone else to make this phone or this, like, that computer or those speakers or that camera? No, it came from someone's like, wait a minute, I can make a better X. That would be my little sort of suggestion or maybe dose of inspiration for you. What can you do to change the game where you are? And ultimately, you may even become noted as the person who is responsible for X, which is a huge thing. That's a huge win. What can you do to change the thing that you think right now where you're at is a disadvantage into a huge lever to be more successful? There you go. Michelle, good question. Maybe I'll come see you in the Bahamas. I need a vacation.
All right.
Next, Finn.
Chase,
my question is, in today's day and age, putting yourself out there, what's the best way to do that? There's so much fear involved with putting yourself out there, with being judged by other photographers and the internet and everything. It's so tough to do it. What would be, in your eyes, a good way to do that without getting put down or feeling like you're put down? My Twitter handle is j.aitchison, j.aitcheson. My website, jaitchison.com. All of my social media is out there. Thanks.
Here's the deal. Fear is real. I get it. It's real. It feels real in here. Your heart rate goes up. Your blood pressure goes up. But here's another way. Fear, fear of being judged. It's not like a tiger is going to eat you. And we're at an evolutionary disadvantage where we only have, like, the humans we're meant to survive. So we have started to assign the fear of being judged on the internet for maybe our slightly off exposure, or maybe a video that ran a little bit too long, is not the same as a tiger chasing you to eat you. So first and foremost is separate those two things. I understand that putting your work out there, it creates anxiety, and there's this, I don't want to get judged. You got to get over it. You have to get over it. And I think Brene Brown does the most masterful job of talking about this. And if you don't know Brene, there's all kinds of Chase Jarvis, 2 Chase Jarvis lives, in fact, with her, and she has a huge body of work. Her TED Talk is incredible. What she talks about, she uses this Roosevelt quote, which is a quote about the man in the arena. And basically it is that if you are in a place to succeed at your craft, especially in the creative endeavors, by definition, your work is out there, because that's, success. Getting your work out there, get paid, create value, inspire, improve others. You can only do that if you're out in front of others. So almost by definition, you will be out in front of other people. So you don't actually get most levels of success, the ones that I just sort of articulated, without being out in front and without subjecting yourself to criticism. Moreover, if no one is talking about your stuff at all, if no one is critical, then you're probably not actually making a mark. If you're, there's a good quote that's escaping me right now, but the point is, you kind of want to put work out there that gets noticed. You must put work out there that gets noticed. And if people aren't noticing your work, it's not real enough in here, and you're not putting enough of you into your work. It should be slightly polarizing. You should have people who love it and people who hate it. Like, no response is the worst. And that will happen too. It's at the beginning, you should be worried about no response. That's where real pain happens. You put a bunch of stuff out there and no one notices, which is going to happen. So I would say that thick skin is required. Be the man in the arena. And like the other half of the Brene Brown stuff with the man in the arena is, and whoa man is every bit as important, is that you should also only take feedback or criticism or read those YouTube comments and take them to heart if the person who's making those comments is also in the arena. Brene talks about having a short little list. It's a list of about 10 people that she carries around with her wallet. It's a physical thing. She showed it to me. And if criticism comes from one of these 10 people, then she takes it very personally and says, wow, like, I need to make sure that these people, that I have a great relationship with these people. At the internet level, if there are other people who are established in their career, as entrepreneurs or creators, I think, and you know their work and they're commenting on yours, you should have an elevated level of interest in hearing from them, because by and large they will, even if they've not made it, they are in the arena too. So you should prioritize feedback from that. The haters, they're gonna hate. Not much you can do from there. I wouldn't take that personally at all. I would try and move on. And the reality is that in a world where you want to be visible, you can't both fit in and stand out at the same time. And if you're standing out, some people may throw rocks. Fear is a real part of the job, but it's also your job to get over it. I love these questions. I love this show. We're just getting started. Again, it's kind of new. I'm having a good time. I hope you are too. If you want your questions asked, if you want your questions answered, give me a call. 802-962-4357. That happens to spell help. 802-962-4357. Leave us a message. If you're calling for international, all you have to do is add a +1 in the front of that. And then it just goes there. And I listen to these things. I love hearing them. I'm not going to stop. I'm never going to stop. Can't stop. Won't stop. I'm just going to moonwalk off for this episode. That's about it.